it came to me after I got had a visitor. It was the female hive mind. They kind of think together. So anyway, as I was saying, I believe that religious convictions keep society together in general, and the morals behind religion are more important than believing every detail of it. And so, I see that Mgtows are exacerbating the problem a little bit more than MRAs. So on that aspect, I agree with MRAs, but ultimately I'm a Mgtow because I'm going my own way. The major reason is that I don't believe that females are able to be conformed, reformed, or changed. So then what must be done is the question. And the answer is to protest your complaints. When you contrast the complaints of Mgtows with the complaints of feminists, it will put feminists to shame. And a lot of women will see that. A lot of women already see that, especially conservative women. Again, I'm not conservative, and that's this video for another day, but this is one of my last videos. I'm actually making this after my final speech, but I'm going to upload it before. Anyway, I think that once women see a strong movement, strong arguments being made, that they're going to say, this feminism has failed, and start abandoning it and start returning to religion, in an ideal scenario. And I think that's very likely to happen if people follow my formula instead of the common Mgtow formula, which is to complain about men being, used as workhorses and things of this nature. So, I think that holding on to religion is very important, because really the ideas that most fight with feminism are religious ideas. And why would we want to abandon it? Religion, say Christianity and Islam is the two I recommend the most. They teach not to steal. They teach to, forgive and have peace with others, not to, rape and murder, and, not to worship idols, and not to be a pagan. And a lot of these pagan religions are very feminist oriented, feminist friendly even. And so you have a lot of, female deities and over-empowering women to the point where it breaks down the family. My concern is the bigger picture more than the individual. And that's part of the difference here. I think that it's better for both mother, father, and child and children to have a strong religious family, rather than just telling people, oh, you should be good for the sake of being good, which works to a certain extent. So he was raised this way, and to punish them, but in their mind they're like, I'm going to do what makes me happy as long as I don't get caught, because I don't believe in God, for example, as opposed to I believe in God, and I'm going to do it, to make God proud of me and to make it to heaven. So let me just wrap this up. I made this a lot longer than I wanted to. Basically, women are very scandalous in general. And I think another point is that I don't think that people should abandon marriage entirely. I think that most people should abandon marriage. But if you're a religious person, you're a Christian, you find a strong Christian woman who's not like the typical woman, which is going to be hard. Okay, it's going to be very hard to determine first it's going to be hard to find a woman like that. It's going to be even harder to determine, the longevity that she's going to have with her philosophy. She might change on you one night. So it's a very tough decision. It's a very tough decision to make. But I think that there should be an element of marriage, and I think it should be a religious bond, a spiritual bond between opposite sexes. So my main problem with Mgtow is that it's feeding into the New World Order agenda as it is now, whether they like it or not. They teach people, Mgtows, to gather wealth. Okay? This is another problem here. If you teach Mgtows to gather wealth and to make women victims because they can't get that wealthy guy, like, oh, he's a wealthy, but he knows better. He's a Mgtow, right? A lot of these Mgtows aren't going to hold on to their beliefs. So, because men are driven by sex and materialism, and women are driven by materialism. So what's going to happen is that they're going to use that money to get women. They're going to say, "Oh, all of a sudden, I have money. I can get the women I want, and I can try to control them." They're going to kind of turn toward an MRA perspective, except for they're going to be more using women for sex. They're going to be Mgtow minded in a way, but they're not going to stick to true Mgtow principles. And they're going to be dating a lot of women, and women are going to be riding the cock carousel. More STDs are going to be spread, what have you. It's really bad for society, and it's bad for that person. He's going to find out one day that, hey, I should have stuck to my Mgtow principles because now I have a disease and I've been fucking, straying from the Mgtow path. So I think the most appropriate Mgtow path is to support the major opposition to feminism, which is Christianity and Islam. And I believe that, you shouldn't give up on women in marriage entirely, but only for the most part. I think I've stated my arguments pretty well. The major reason this is the female hive mind. Again, you can't underestimate the female hive minds. The MRAs have underestimated it. That's why I'm not an MRA. You can't change these women. Only religion can. And neither of these groups are really strong religious people. They need to, So MRAs need to realize you can't change women, and Mgtows need to realize that you shouldn't give up on women entirely, because that's going to increase the rates of homosexuality. It's going to help feminism out in a way, because once women have less desirable men to choose from available to them, they're going to start turning to women. There's going to be women in their head like, fuck these guys anyway. They want more from us because we demand our women's rights. Fuck them. Just be a lesbian. They're going to start convincing them to be lesbians. They're going to start convincing females to go in their own feminist way, either be a lesbian or to just give up on men altogether, grow beards, armpit hair, what have you. So yeah, I went way over the time, but I needed to explain this,